live no more. Good morning. How's everyone doing? So today was interesting. I was very tired. I woke up early. Like I said, this time I did wake up at 6:40. Just kind of woke up before my alarm. Kind of just like on social media, checking up on things on Twitter, things of that nature. And knocked out this multicast chapter, which was awesome. It's packed full large. I hate though how the study guide starts off. My laptop's trying to spin again. It's annoying. I spent about 10 minutes trying to get it so that way nothing is running except for what I have open, so that way the fans won't spin and start spinning again. But anyways, the study guide is interesting. It starts off real lean. It seems like it's gonna be an easy chapter, and then in the end it just packs in super amounts of detail. So by the end of the chapter you think you're like, oh, only got 6 pages left. All right, cool. And you're like knocking out your reading, and you just realize it's just, I'm gonna reread that folder. Let me reread that paragraph. Let me read that paragraph again. Read that again. Let me go back a couple of pages, read the paragraph again, go back and then read the current content. And it's just it's a back and forth. I'm starting to realize it's more now than it was earlier in the chapters. So in chapter 1 through 6, you won't get so much of that. But towards chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, you're starting to see more of that happening. Right now I'm in chapter 14. So after this QoS chapter, which is also a very long chapter, I believe it's 40 pages, I'm not sure. Once I'm done with that, then I'll be at the halfway point of the book, technically. Because it's 29 chapters, so I guess in halfway point of chapter 15 would be technically directly half. But in essence, 14, I will call it rounding, and we'll be good on the halfway point there. So for this book, like I said, the deeper you go into it, the more and more detail. And this chapter, I really enjoyed it in multicast because I don't remember too much in detail, or not in this much detail, on the route exam study guide. And when I took the exam, there wasn't a lot of stuff about multicast. Also on the switch book was very heavy on ether channels and bundles, spanning tree tuning, things of that nature. Not so much on the multicast. So on this book is very interesting because you have multicast and you have routing and multicast, understanding of things. So that's the chapter I think I would definitely need to revisit multiple times and take a lot of notes. I did a lot of highlighting in that chapter of not just the key topics that the study guide identifies, but also the reinforced notes, reinforced details that are beyond the sections that they labeled key topic, that references the key topic sections. So I highlight little sentences that I can piece together, and the way which I'll probably highlight at a later vlog, or maybe a more detailed specific post, I guess, or podcast, about how I go through some of my notes once I'm ready to do so, because I'm in the middle of migrating to OneNote. I looked at a YouTube channel with an individual going over how he's going to approach his CCNP studies, and he's actually doing OneNote. I've seen some other people on Twitter doing OneNote as well, using that as their note taking. I practiced it, I tested it out on my last week's lab, and I really enjoyed it just because of the flexibility. You can put, you have more of a canvas to put different things on, so you can put something here, something here. You can have you can have the details of it, and you can give your own written example. And I feel like it'll be more flexible for me, just on how my understanding. I can write, maybe I can do like maps and flows through words, I guess, and that's one of the things I want to go over and test out, and then maybe do a video on it, how I did it on my Word documents and how I'm going to do it on OneNote. But I don't want to do that until I fully do the migration, actually like it. One of the advantages on using the Word or any type of cloud sharing platform, so like Google Docs and things of that nature, is that you can create them on your computer and then pull them out on a tablet or on your phone. So it's one of the things when I did in my CCNA studies is this is how all this happened. I was like, I want a way for me to be able to carry the book portably. Now I understand it. You can get in a Kindle or whatever. I'm like, but I don't want the whole book. I still want to highlight and carry the book for more detail. Say I read the book, I want to leave it at home, but when I'm at work, I want to do my flashcards, and then say I want to read through a certain section of the book that I thought was very important and I should read. Now I'm like, all right, well, maybe if I type it out or write it, like that's a notepad, right? You take notes, and for me, I hate writing. I get like pains here, and my writing is terrible. I'm not good at it, nor do I care about trying to improve my writing skills, like just penmanship, whatever. I'm a IT guy. I would much rather spend time improving my typing skills. So I don't really care about my penmanship. And it takes longer. So I can type faster than I can write. So why not just type it out? So that's why I started buying a platform for my book to mount so I could start typing. So I typed all the sections that I was like, I'm having trouble with this section. Type it out. Save it on my OneDrive. My phone, I opened it up. So my phone, I opened it up and I was reading at work during like my breaks or whatever. And then like reading a section after I'm going through my flashcards, like I'm doing my rounds or whatever. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm sitting down and I'm working, and I have this like thought. I'm like, I can't understand this for some reason. And I open up my phone and I'm like or I'm at like a coffee shop or I'm at whatever. And I don't know, like my girlfriend's picking out a book and she's taking forever. So then what I do is I open up my phone and I'm reading through those documents, right? And they're not super detailed where it takes 100% of my like capacity during that time, but it's enough information for me to reference back to when I have a question. And I'm like, I think it's this. No, I'm gonna read this real quick. Oh, I know it's this. And it just gives me more confidence, right? So it just adds that flexibility. Able to study during your breaks at work, lunch, when you're out, anything like that. Instead of carrying papers and then papers get crumpled up or you don't want to damage them, or you want to carry a backpack. It's like, no, it's just on your phone. It's super flexible. So the downside on that though is the Word documents, they're not really portable friendly. You can read them from there, but you have to like zoom in, zoom out, or like turn your phone. OneNote, it's more flexible when you're reading it. It's meant to be portable. So I am building my desktop, and I'm actually going to be using that. Build it on a rack. I got my motherboard in yesterday, so I'm going to open this up here in a little bit, maybe do a video, and I'm going to plug in the RAM and my M.2. And then I still need the processor, I still need parts, but I want to see if everything fits, everything is good, because I might need more RAM. I don't know what, I got DDR3 RAM for free, so I got it from a buddy of mine. So I'm going to rack it up with all that RAM and see if it all fits and everything's good. I'm sure it will, no problems there. I shouldn't have no problems there, but just want to kind of like really put my hands on it type of thing. And then once I do that, I'm going to have this laptop that I have, the Surface 2. I'm going to use that as my study tool. That's going to be pretty much my tablet when we do go back to work. I'm going to be carrying that around my backpack just for referencing, like my notes. That will be the thing that replaces my phone. Instead of my phone, I'll have this tablet, this Surface, this 13-inch Surface with my pen, and then going through my notes there. When I'm at home, I'll actually take my notes, do the labs, and then when I'm at work, and my portable, whatever, I take like flashcards. Like I said, while I'm working in between meetings, go through a flashcard. You'd be surprised how much downtime you have when you fill it up. You can do this with everything. Like one of the things that I was doing before this pandemic was when I was driving to work, I would do management books. I would do a lot of audibles. I've listened to, I think, 3 already. Traction, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and all that's for work, right? It's improving my work. Same thing with these certification tracks. They're improving my skills that I use at work. I have a Cisco environment in AWS. I'm planning to implement that for our systems. So as a solution. So I actually have a meeting with AWS here at 11. So that's why I'm studying the practitioner. I actually want to be making these right decisions, right? So get informed during to that technology. So so it all reinforces your career and whatever job that you're in, right? So this is essentially putting that extra take an extra step forward for your career and putting that extra effort. So so in between meetings or breaks and things of that nature, I pop up flashcards, and if I have a question, I'm like, damn, like I don't know, I'm having struggle with this. It is the third time today that I've got this answer wrong. Let me look at my notes for that topic in that chapter. I'll look up at my notes. I'll pop up my tablet, on my phone, on my OneNote, and I look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, got it, boom. And then go back and just go through the rest of the flashcards. So that's kind of my plan and what I'll be doing. That's what I did with my CCNA. It was very successful. I'm going to do it for my CCNP this time around. I believe I was so close for that route. I think I was in the right track. Just like everyone else, I think that I just didn't pass the first time. So it could have been nerves, it could have been numerous things, or maybe I just wasn't. One of the topics I know for sure I had a struggle with is deploying of VPNs. And there was a OSPF lab that I think I did poorly on when I was supposed to figure out routing through an OSPF. And so that I think that was a problem too. So I think if I would have took it out again, I would have passed, especially after I reinforced some of the topics that I had problems with. I have it written on my whiteboard of the topics that I had issues with, so that way I always remember until I passed that exam. So halfway through the book, highlighting. So one of the things I'm trying to do this time around is highlight with just change my highlighting methods. I used to look up ways of how other people do it. I don't like putting too much energy in things like that. I like keeping things simple and keeping the concept simple, and allows me to focus more on absorbing the material, whatever is easier for me to absorb. If I take more time preparing or note taking, like just too much time on that, it's like, in order for you to study, you have to turn on the computer, you have to do all kinds of turn on the light, you have to I don't want to say turn on the lights, obviously it's easy, but set up your computer, put all the cables in, plug in your keyboard. It just takes longer for you to start. So if you want to plan at 9 to start studying, it takes you half an hour to set up. So you start at 9, but in actuality you start at 9:30. You actually start studying at 9:30 because it takes you half an hour to set up your computer, turn everything on, get everything going. So you lose that. So you're only studying 30 minutes because you're done at 10. And 10 you gotta do other things, you gotta work, you gotta do whatever. So again, with the note taking or my approach of studying, I don't want to highlight and think, okay, is this like, oh no, this is the wrong highlighter, I can't highlight this until I find the right highlighter, or I need to get all my highlighters, and I just don't like doing that. So what I'm gonna do is, and what I started doing with what failed before was my CCNP before was I was like, all right, if it's general and I should be important, I should be one color. If it's like guaranteed important, that I had problems absorbing this particular topic, I'm gonna highlight a different color. That didn't work for me. So what I'm actually doing is highlighting the first round of the book in orange. I may need to switch it up if these two I have two oranges. If these two actually start dying on me, I already switched it up on I stopped using orange for my AWS and used yellow. So I'm hoping that these two oranges last me through this whole book. If not, then I'll have to switch the color. And then the second round would be me highlighting things that I didn't catch the first time and actually were important. I didn't think they were important at the time. So that way it's just very easy. It's one color, and the second round is second color, and then those will be the ones that I'm like, oh yeah, like I was dumb for not. This is something that at first glance and I read it wasn't important to me, and I realized because of my inability to take that into consideration, I guess, ignorance, whatever you want to call it, I had to re-highlight. I had highlighted it again, so it tells me that I need to put more energy into it. That's all it's trying to do. So I'm trying this method out with this book and see with this exam, this book study, and see how that works out. Let me know on the comments below if you're watching this in YouTube, if what type of method you use for highlighting. But again, also too, I used to label each exam topic for my notes. I'm actually holding back on that a little bit because it ended up being super clutter. It's just like a bunch of tabs everywhere, and then when I'm done with the tabs, I actually remove them. When I'm finished taking the notes, I actually remove them. But I'm starting to realize, like, most important right now it's reading, and then the note taking is just kind of my second kind of round around going back and looking through the book for notes. So I'm actually, yesterday I didn't do that. I haven't done notes in about 3 or 4 days. I've been reading a lot. It's probably why I'm kind of tired. Yesterday I did 3 hours of reading, but not for the CCNP. I did 2 hours of the CCNP reading and 1 hour for the AWS. I finished chapter 3 of AWS. I'm in chapter 4. I'm also almost halfway there for the AWS. There's 12 chapters there, so 2 more chapters. I'm in the halfway point in that book. So I was eager to finish the BGP. Well, no, I was eager to finish. No, that was Monday when I finished BGP. That's why I did 3 hours of CCNP. Tuesday, I wanted to throw in AWS. But I'm starting to become eager on reading to curiosity, or like a QoS. I really want to tackle that next. So I'm getting very curious. I like reading. I'm starting to really enjoy it now. It's like running, right? It's hard when you first start, but when you start running it, you kind of look forward to it. That feeling afterwards and during the time, it allows you to think, just all these things that happen while you're running. So I'm looking forward to it now. I'm encouraging that behavior. If my mind is like, I really don't want to take notes, but I really want to read, I'm gonna just encourage that, because reading is always the priority. Once I finish the book, it's gonna be heavy note taking and heavy labbing. And then once the note takings are done, when they're not really ever done for me, it's gonna be heavy labbing, heavy overview on the notes, and going back. And that's when the book starts being torn apart, where I go through the book, and researching stuff, taking more notes, until finally all the notes are pretty much in there. And until I take a actual test, I won't reopen the book. Everything will be in the notes that I already have, everything that I've been covering. I wouldn't know what else to cover until I finally take the test, and then so on and so forth. So that's how I see myself as I go through all this. So today, I'm pretty much done for the morning stuff. I need to do my Mandarin right after this. Probably get some food, some apple or something, and then get the Mandarin going. And then once I do that, I will be doing some work, and then take a break, and then maybe the note taking or reading. I'm not sure. Again, I don't try to plan out my day too much, because I do have a meeting at 11. I just forgot about that right now. So I try not to be too so static. Again, I just know that, all right, well, the next couple of hours, right? So that way I don't, I guess, don't do a misstep or anything like that. I don't put myself in like a situation where I have to do it at this hour. It's like I go by feel. Until, again, obviously once you start opening up again, that change. And I'm glad I'm documenting now, so that way you guys can see the adjustments I will have to make forcefully, because always priorities always work. Thing is that and then, to be honest with you, I'll be completely honest, if I wasn't in my career already, and I would just say I was I don't know, grocery bagger or something. I just like I'm learning, I'm getting certified. Honestly, I wouldn't take that job priority to school. I would obviously do the commitments, show up on time, make sure I'm doing things right at work. But when it comes to the priorities in my life, it would be school. just because I'm like, this isn't my career. Like, I don't want to be a grocery bagger the rest of my life, but I'm already in my career. So priority always for me is work. Make sure the bills are paid and I keep developing as a professional. So the certifications and study material is always reinforcing that. So that's why I think I do want to make sure I mention that, because I feel as professionals, we're like, well, education got us here and you don't want to back us up and help us out. And we feel kind of like, well, you need to support me in this task or whatever. But at the end of the day, the reason why you're doing these certifications and studies is for a better job, better position. For me, I never really said this out loud, but I've been really thinking about it lately, is I really want to be an educator. But real cool to teach folks about things, all things IT and networking, being a specialty in this craft. So I always thought about, and more often now, recently, is thinking about being an educator. So that's why I'm learning and studying and continuing developing my career, but at the same time, learning something well enough to be able to teach someone. That's real cool. So that idea is real cool. That concept's real cool. So that's why I'm doing it. Find out your why, as Network Chuck always mentions. Find out your why you're doing something, and it helps you get motivated to make sure you do it every day. Again, the consistency is what always matters. So cool. So comment down below if you have any questions. Yeah, I think we're good. So this vlog is going to be available right away, within the hour, on my website, the itblog.info, and on YouTube in the next couple hours, by the end of the day for sure. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.